But that's it?
Right.
Well, it's on the tape.
Live from Groton, Connecticut. It's Sox and Stripes Forever. Spring training. Take it away, boys.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I thought you were going to say live from Groton Utilities, but good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. Welcome back to Sox and Stripes Forever. Today is March 26th, and this is finally not a repeat because I don't know if you're aware of this, but from our last show, which was November maybe, to now, they've been showing the same exact episode.
Every night?
Yeah,
Every Thursday?
every Thursday,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
So it's been that one.
It's like Groundhog Day.
That's right. It's that one where I had the big, goofy-looking beard, and we were talking about how much we hate baseball, and our teams are awful, and hopefully next year we do a lot better. But
wow, every night.
as a breath of fresh air, as we breathe into your life, into your living room,
Absolutely.
we are back.
We are back.
We are back to talk some baseball after one of the most arduous, longest winters probably any of us hardy New Englanders have ever endured.
Let's not tempt it, okay?
True, because we are supposed to get more snow on Saturday, so it's not over yet. This is going to be the year we're going to have snow in May, all right? I just want to say that. So, first of all, how was your off season? Anything pressing?
I had an intimate relationship with my snowblower, it feels like. I used it so often.
You got to be careful with that. There's a lot of moving parts with that thing.
That's legal in Ledger.
That's true. There's been a lot of mini snowblowers born that way. But so, also a couple of other things. One of our coworkers just got engaged yesterday, so we want to just send a little mini shout out to Julie.
Julie,
right?
Congratulations.
Congratulations to Julie. And
Congratulations, Julie.
Also, we want to say real quick off the top of the show, Frank Winkler and Peter Grills, great job in the off season for all the work they done. Paul Hyatt, our director, we're kind of doing the show upside down here, doing the shout outs in the beginning, but I want to just get them out of the way before anybody turns the show off. So
yeah, I'm telling you, there's a whiffy coming in here this morning.
And also on a little bit of a more sentimental note, when we first started doing this show, right? This is our seventh
year
season, so we're going to be getting the 7-year itch pretty soon, right?
Ooh,
Hopefully not.
But
A little itchy all the time, aren't
but
they?
on the air?
there's our
You can put something on for that.
there's our peanut gallery over there. So anyways, when we first started this show, when we first started taping it, we would go and watch it at a certain place after the show, and that place would be the what was the name of it?
Side pocket.
The Side Pocket Cafe down on by Dunkin' Donuts in Groton. And the owner, Henry Reed, used to accommodate us and everything. Well, anyways, Henry passed away this off season, so we want to kind of tie in the nostalgia there, you know.
The Groton mainstay.
Yes. Used to be called the Porthole. Maybe you remember it back then?
Oh, yeah. I was carried out of there many times.
Well, it was never mind.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Family show.
I almost said it, too. I almost said it. See,
we would have to start over.
I think everybody needs to bear with us here because we were talking about this before the show went on.
Oh, bear with it. Okay.
Spring training is going on in more ways than one. You know.
Yeah, for you.
They're not playing
For you, I had a simple request.
Okay.
Okay. It was a simple request.
Okay, so you're ready to rock and roll.
I'm ready to
You're
go,
in mid-season form, I can see.
Well,
I can
always.
see that. Yeah. Okay. So.
It's not like my team, though.
So. On that note, let's get started, right? There is before we get started, there's our new email address, and we want to make a solemn promise to anybody that emails us any kind of questions, we will address them on the air.
Next week.
Promise, cross our hearts, hope to die. If you get to us, we're going to get to it. We're not going to let you down there, so we got.
Just remember the password this year.
Well, don't tell them the password. We got the password.
Maybe we should so we can remember.
We could go back to one of the tapes and figure out what it was.
I got in there somehow by accident. So let's get to some baseball.
Let's do some baseball.
What do you think? It's exciting to be talking about baseball again, especially after this
What an off season.
Horrific football season.
Oh, no,
we don't want to.
We're not going to.
We don't want to talk about that. I mean, no.
Viking and Red Sox fan, no, there was no football season.
Redskins, yeah, but still, I mean, I had more fun watching lacrosse.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, so we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, this is.
Being a baseball fan, it was a great off season, wasn't it?
It sure was.
I mean, there was a lot of action.
There was tons of action.
Trades, free agent signings,
max contracts. I mean, not as much for you as it was for me probably because the Red Sox made a couple of big splashes, but around the league there was a lot of things that had been done, and some of them more significant than others, and some of them, some of the minor things that were done in the off season are the ones that are usually
Yankees,
they're the bigger ones
when
at the end of the
Red Sox
year.
won it a couple years ago, it was a bunch of minor moves that you're like, oh, that won't make any difference.
It was
So
Koji
what?
Uehara.
You know?
It was Koji Uehara who was brought in to be a setup guy that nobody ever heard of, and ended up being one of the best closers in the baseball that season.
Mm-hmm.
So those are well, we'll talk about him. But those are the things you got to look out for in the offseason. There are plenty of them to talk about. But let's get into the team that finished not last year. So
Might as well have been
I'm
last.
gonna have to defer to you on opening night here, because the Yankees, I'm actually more interested to hear what you have to say about the Yankees, because we haven't spoken a lot
Right.
about each other. I heard you talking to a coworker the other day about it, and I purposefully stayed out of the conversation because I wanted to get your take on your team on the air and see what you got to say. Hopefully, it won't be too profanity laden. I think.
I'll attempt to do the best I can.
All right. So
I can't make any promises.
So let's
Okay.
where do we want to start? Right. First of all, Derek Jeter's gone this year. Right. Okay. One of the worst shortstops in baseball last year.
Defensively, statistically,
Yep.
defensively, offensively, for the last couple years, his defense. I've said it on the show for a long time.
Yep.
Okay, when you talk about a player, I don't want to get off on this, all right? But when you talk about a player, look at me. When you talk about a player,
Go ahead.
and that what he means to a team, what does it really matter if you don't win anything?
It doesn't mean a thing.
It doesn't mean a thing,
Right.
okay? So the Yankees won back in 2009. You want to know why? Because they signed Sabathia, Teixeira, and Burnett. That's why they won it.
And they
Yeah.
performed.
Yeah.
Don't forget, that's a
yes.
major factor.
But I mean, they wouldn't have won anything then.
Right.
But all the way back to 2000, I think 2001 since the last time. So that's been 13 years. What the captain and this? So what?
Right. Yeah.
So what?
Irrelevant.
So anyway, so he's gone, and before I start becoming singular about anything, I think what you're most interested in is like my overall take, how I'm seeing it.
Yeah, let's start with that.
And here's how I'm seeing it. I don't know. Okay? I mean, really, because of what happened last year, the lack of offense, what's going to happen with the starting pitching this year, where the starting pitching, if you grade it out to 60's bad and 100 is magnificent, okay? The pitching could be 90, the starting pitching now could be 90, it could be 50. So let me become singular now. Because I don't know what Sabathia's going to give me. He's putting on weight. Now he's throwing the ball harder in spring training, but now he's had these knee situations. He didn't really throw much last year. How many innings does he have? I don't believe he can go back to the pitcher he was 3 and 4 years ago. I'm hoping he can be a number 3 and pitch all year long. And if he does, I'll be satisfied.
That's a best case scenario.
That's that's what I'm talking about, 50 and 100.
Right.
Now I'll move along to Pineda, who I like,
Yep.
but he has some injury history.
Absolutely.
And even though he pitched well at the end of last year, how do I know that he doesn't, all of a sudden a lat doesn't come up or this, and he's just one of those guys.
Oh, yeah.
But if he doesn't, he's a magnificent pitcher, but at the same time, he's chosen to make some really bonehead things.
Pine tar?
I.e. pine tar.
Yeah.
So that's him. Now, you've seen the shot of the professor about that. That's a classic.
Yeah.
But so there's my second guy. My third guy is maybe one of the best pitchers in baseball, that maybe he comes out of the gate and he throws like that, but because of his situation, Tanaka's situation, how do I know he's just a pitch away from being gone for a year and a half? It'll be a year and a half now.
Yeah.
If it gets into the season.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
So, but they're saying that he's healthy and he's fine and he's ready to go. So he just pitches. But again, Bill, 50 or 100.
Yep.
Okay? Now, that brings me down to Io Velati.
Yeah.
Impressive how I got the name right.
I don't think that's right.
I think I appreciate you not hammering
It's
me.
Nate Evoldi.
Well, it's close enough.
Okay.
It's got an I at the end. All right. All right.
He's Italian.
He's a kid. I like the trade the Yankees made. They're trying to get a little bit younger and pitching. They control his contract. 25 years old. Throws 98 miles an hour. Now, gave up more hits.
Most hits in baseball.
Than innings pitched last year, like 223 to 210 or something like that, okay? But supposedly his problem was two-pitch pony.
Mm-hmm.
That fastball, everything hard. Okay.
And flat.
And flat.
Yeah.
But now this year, he's worked in, and he was doing it at the end of last year, and they said he was successful with it, is a split, like Kurt Schilling, and a changeup. So supposedly he's doing well this spring training. But again, Bill, 50 to 100.
Yep.
I'll tell you what I would do. I don't have a choice. I can't get rid of Tanaka. I can't, Sabathia, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't have minded being rid of Sabathia. But these other guys, I'll roll the dice with those guys, and it looks like Warren, who was a really good what's the word I'm looking for? Jack of all trades in the bullpen last year.
Yep.
Is really a starter, and it looks like he's probably going to win the number 5 spot. And I'm okay with that with a kid down at number 5 because you never know what he becomes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So the pitching staff, I believe, is going to be the Yankees. I'll say it right now. The pitching staff will be the key for the season.
Oh, absolutely.
It'll be a key for the season because remember, the Yankees did do a good job when guys were going down pitching last year and just putting guys in the position. The Yankees didn't win last year because they didn't hit.
Right.
All right.
They pitched fine.
They pitched fine.
Yeah.
So that's where I am with the starting pitching.
Yep.
Okay. Moving along to the bullpen, the great one is gone. Now, if you want to talk about a great one, we'll talk about a great one. Mo is gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's
now,
2 years now removed.
Yeah. Well, what I mean is he's gone and his predecessor is gone who did the job.
Went to Houston?
She went to Chicago White Sox.
White Sox, okay.
Who had a great offseason.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so he's gone, and I always felt like people that wanted to give Betances, just give it to him. Here's what I felt. He was never did what he was supposed to do as a starter, came up, couldn't make it work as a starter. They put him in the bullpen only because they didn't want to send him back last year. And he pitched great in the 6th, pitched great in the 7th.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden he became the 8th guy, and he was great. Well, you and I both know there's a difference between the 8th inning and there's a difference between the 9th inning. So the Yankees have kind of given him the job, and what's happening in spring training? He's getting ripped all over the ballpark.
Yeah, he's not pitching well.
Supposedly, and I've read this a bunch of different places, relief pitchers take longer to get arm strength because they're not throwing so many innings in spring training.
Yep.
And they say that he's throwing 93, 94, the 98 will come. So
what I've heard is he's having control issues.
And that's been his history.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so I think what you're going to see is a combination of the two of him and Andrew Miller, which I think was a great signing. I love him.
Big bucks.
Pitch for the Red Sox. I don't care.
I know.
That's what the Yankees do.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
So he pitched for the Orioles, pitched well down the stretch. He's pitched well for the Red Sox. Knows what it means to throw in the American League East. You and I talk about that all the time.
That he does.
So I think you could see him maybe be the closer and push this kid backwards into the 8th. They have a kid they got from a lefty that throws really hard, Wilson from Pittsburgh. And they have a kid Carpenter and Whitley. I'm going to really like the Yankees bullpen if somebody can make it work in the 9th inning. So somebody's got to make these, we just can't give it away in the 9th inning.
That's a big if, but yeah, I think that.
But I think Miller can be the guy. But once again, it'll be his first time closing in the 9th inning too.
That's true.
So
and don't forget, he wasn't lights out all year last year either. He had a lot of bad games for the Red Sox.
I still like him.
No, he's solid. I mean, he as a left-handed batter, he's impossible to hit off. And the guy, the way the arm angle he comes at, I think the overwhelming theme is that the Yankees bullpen is going to be the strength of the team this year, and that is not necessarily that bad of a thing because you saw the Kansas City Royals go to the World Series
about bullpens
with their bullpen. I mean, they had a stellar bullpen. And how many times have we talked about it on the show where bullpens are, you just take a bunch of guys and you throw them down and you hope that a couple of them stick, and that's really all it takes.
Yeah, because you get a good bullpen, you can get to the old Yankee teams, you got to the 6th inning and the game was over.
Right.
If you could just get me the 1-run lead to the 7th, the game was over.
Right.
So,
and I mean, what an advantage.
You mix and you match.
Yeah, it's a gigantic advantage. But I mean,
okay, so moving along to the other side, Jeter's being gone. Gregorius of the Yankees signed. I like the signing. He's working on his offense, but he's a great defensive player. Now,
he's almost like a Julio Iglesias.
Yeah, I like him, and if he just gives the Yankees 240, if he gave me 250, hitting left-handed at the bottom of the lineup and plays great defense and he steals bases, I'll take it. Okay, I got a feeling this kid's 275 guy. He's got the ability.
Pretty optimistic.
Now I don't think. Well, I'll take 250.
Look at his stats of his history, but he's
230.
He's a singles hitter.
I'll take it.
That
Play me great defense. I've never had great defense at shortstop.
That's true.
Okay,
That's
and
true.
a base runner.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Now, with Drew at second base, I prefer one of the younger kids, but for 1 year, I can see what the Yankees are doing. They want somebody that's going to play good defense at second base. Now, he's been supposedly having a little bit of trouble. I think he's still growing because second base has never been a real position for him.
Right.
But I think he's a pro, and I think he can make it happen. And if he doesn't, the Yankees have two kids. I think they want to go with their Perella or Reisendorf. Okay, if I said the name right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think they've got two of those guys at third base, second base.
Yep.
Over at third base, I like this signing. I didn't like 4 years for Headley, but I like Headley. He plays great defense. So now all of a sudden, with Teixeira doing his thing at first base,
hopefully,
I think the Yankees are going to have a pretty good infield defense. And if Headley hits me 275 and hits me 15 home runs and drives in 80 runs, I'm going to really like it. Because you got to pay, with all the money in baseball, you got to pay for guys now.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
McCann at the end of last year started hitting the ball. His average never got much over 240, but I think, it's his first year, and all I can do is hope he can get himself to 275, 280.
Yep.
But he's going to hit his 25 home runs, and he's going to make that happen.
Yep.
In my outfield, I've got Ellsbury back and already with an oblique.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm starting to wonder, okay, is this going to start to be something?
And you're tied to him for 6 more years?
I'm tied to him for 6 more years. So I got Gardner in left field, who I like.
Yep.
Gardner can switch over, and they signed Young in the offseason. He played well for him at the end of last year as a fourth outfielder. I love him.
Yeah.
Okay, I really do.
How about Beltran?
Beltran, I'm going to have to hope he doesn't, one of these guys foul ball in the net and hurt himself, and he goes on the disabled list.
I heard Beltran come out with a quote saying he'll never be healthy again in his career.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So I think what you're going to see is, unfortunately, the Yankees have that. I was going to say something I was going to be sorry for. They have that clown at DH. Okay, that Alex Rodriguez at DH. It's a traveling circus that the Yankees need him to not be able to play so they can collect insurance money. Because even if he can't play, are we going to sit a guy making $25 million on the bench? Did you know where Beltran belongs?
DH?
At DH.
But I disagree with you on one thing here. I think the Yankees need A-Rod, or at least want him, because at least he brings interest.
The Yankees,
whether it's negative or positive,
the Yankees are a
it's
traveling
interesting.
show. They're the pinstripes. When they go into a park, if they're playing well, that's all they need.
Well,
A-Rod's not going to get them to play well.
Sure is.
He's useless. He's done.
What's the most thing of any interest in spring training right now for the Yankees? It's A-Rod.
And
what A-Rod's doing.
And that's not what the Yankees want.
But that's what
Yankees want him to be
the
done.
fans want. I understand what you're saying.
I think there are A-Rod fans out there. I won't deny that.
And you don't think the Yankees want the back page? Just like the Jets want to steal it from the Giants always?
Not like that. Do you think the Red Sox want the back page by some... Remember a couple years ago when they split rumor about Terry Francona and he was stuck on some drug during the season? The Red Sox want that back page?
I think that's a little bit different.
Okay, but it brings press, doesn't it?
Yeah, but...
What A-Rod did isn't the same thing? You know what? Every one of his home runs are drug-induced.
But I think A-Rod is going to put...
He tried to sue the Yankees. He tried to sue Major League Baseball. He lied wherever he could to everybody every time.
But whether it's right or it's not, A-Rod is going to put people in the stands, one way or another.
I'm not going to argue that. I'm saying the Yankees...
Isn't that the bottom line?
When Jeter was hitting second last year and he couldn't, and he wanted to move him down in the lineup, and they'd ask him every game, are you going to move him down in the lineup? He knew he couldn't move him down in the lineup. Did the Yankees want that? Do the Yankees want that attention like that?
Of course.
No team doesn't.
Of course not, but if it generates money, I mean, sometimes...
The Yankees make plenty of money. They don't need A-Rod, is what I'm saying, to generate money for them.
Yeah, but if there's nobody coming to the games, they're not going to be making money.
People come to the Yankees... How
many times have we looked at a Yankees game and there's nobody in the stands?
Do you know how much the Yankees are worth?
$2.3 billion.
The newest one came out this year. $3.2 billion. Nobody's even close. Okay, the Yankees don't care.
The Cowboys are.
In baseball.
Yeah.
The Yankees don't care. They've got their own network. They don't care.
I'm just saying.
I agree with you. It draws interest, but not the type of interest they want.
Well, all right. Go ahead. Keep going.
I'm done. Okay. On the farm we're going to talk about later.
Yeah.
So I can see the Yankees going because the thing is going to be is when you have so many questions, like when the Red Sox won it a couple years ago, you had no idea, but it all came together. I mean, all of it. Okay?
Yeah.
So I don't know what percentage of this has to come together. But don't you think it's like 75, 80% for them to be successful?
Oh, yeah.
But I'm saying I could see this all go south and the Yankees lose more games than they lost last year. Or I could see them creep anywhere within 2, all the way up to a 90-win team. I could see them be 90-win. No. If it all comes together.
If it all comes together, yeah, okay. All right, I'll hand you that one. I mean, you and I are kind of similar in where we stand because, well, number one point you didn't bring up, and I think it's an important one, is that the AL East is ripe for the taking. It was last year.
I agree, 100%.
And it's even more this year.
Yep.
Because who's really taking a step forward? I mean,
well, Toronto a little bit, but they still don't have starting pitching.
Yeah, but then I mean, then they got one of the pitchers got hurt, and they took a couple steps back, and Tampa Bay,
oh, they're done.
Never say they're done.
They're done. I mean,
mark it right now. First show of the year.
Moore's still not back, and
he'll be back. Alex Cobb, I know.
Alex Cobb is down now.
Alex Cobb is probably the best pitcher in the AL East.
No,
but
they're done, and they can't. They flat can't hit.
I know. Well, they still got Longoria, and they lost Joe Madden, which is big.
They won't even finish 500. No chance. Mark it down.
All right.
Mark it down.
Well, in the Orioles, they're a team with a big chip on their shoulder. You don't want to overestimate them.
But they lost their leading home run hitter. They lost a lefty guy.
They did.
And they lost
Andrew Miller.
Andrew Miller, and they lost Markakis.
That's it. Yeah, but they still got Adam Jones, and they still got. Well, my point is that the AL East is probably. I mean, if we really think about it for a minute, the AL East might be the weakest division in baseball.
Yeah, I know. We used to brag about it all the time.
How unbelievable
and you know
that?
Why? Because of money in baseball everywhere.
Parity, right? A little bit.
It's going to become the NFL pretty soon.
Yeah, and one big reason is because free agency isn't what it used to be because guys are getting locked up before they make it to free agency. So let's move to the Red Sox for a few minutes. I don't know how the professor feels about this, but I haven't talked to him about this. But this is a little disturbing on the Red Sox part. This is the first time they've ever gone over $200 million in their payroll.
Yeah.
So all this ballyhoo.
You have to wonder how the professor feels about that.
Yeah, right.
The Pittsburgh Pirates at $75 million. The professor secretly roots for them. Okay.
he loves but the professor should be a bean counter. Maybe in a different life he was. But the $200 million, it totally negates anything I can ever say about the Yankees. And
that's right.
That was one of the biggest comebacks always was like, well, we don't spend $200 million.
Yeah, that's why Larry Lucchino's a dork because he keeps saying we do it differently. What are you doing differently?
Now he looks like an idiot, right?
Well, he is an idiot.
So we'll see. Actually, Larry Lucchino's going to be running the Providence Paw Sox pretty soon. So
that's where he belongs.
See how much of an idiot he is. So a couple of the key additions for the Red Sox this offseason, because there were major ones. I mean, a key loss was John Lester, obviously, and the John Lester sweepstakes was pretty enticing there during the winter meetings. And the Red Sox almost had him. I mean, they were.
We're never going to know what the numbers were.
Yeah, I can't even remember what the numbers were.
Did he walk?
To be,
I'm thinking.
I think it was like $10 million.
I think the Cubs won an extra year and more money. I think that was the deal.
Yeah, and you can't begrudge him.
And I hate to say
it,
but I predicted that.
Yeah, whatever. You
I
can't.
Told you.
You can't begrudge him for that.
That's 1 thing out of 5 I was right about.
Really, 5. Really left a major hole, though. I mean,
man.
So the Red Sox went out and they got Rick Porcello, right? 1 year, $13 million.
You've always liked him.
Yeah, I did always like him. I actually predicted him coming to the Red Sox a couple of years ago.
Last year, too.
Young guy. They gave up. Help me out. God, why is
what
not
position?
Coming to me? The left fielder there, the guy that got from Cuba.
Oh, Cespedes?
Yes, thank you. You want to?
And I said that right too.
Thank you. I know it's a strange day today. So they traded Cespedes to Detroit.
That's a good deal for the Red Sox, man.
Great deal for the Red Sox.
That kid, he never gets on base unless hits home run.
Well,
he's not on base when he hits home run.
Yeah, and the Red Sox love on base percentage guys, and it was his walk year. Not that it's not Porcello's walk year, but Porcello had a great year last year. They needed some stability in the rotation, right? So they pick up Porcello. They also pick up this Wade Miley guy who, we'll see about him. He's an innings eater. The Red Sox. Let me get to that in a minute. Let me talk about the rest of the additions. They also got Hanley Ramirez for 4 years, $88 million. I love it. Love it.
That's a lot of money for a left fielder, dude.
I know it is.
It's a lot of money. That's $22 million a year for an outfielder.
I know it is, Jeff, but it's 4 years, right?
And he's a head case.
We talk about the AAV.
They traded him originally. You want to know why? Because he was a head case in the minor leagues.
What'd they get for him? They got Josh Beckett for him, right?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying now they got him back.
And he's a lot more mature.
You hope.
Listen,
I want you to attach "you hope" to the front of that, and then I'll go with it.
I hope he stays healthy. I don't care about the rest of it. Listen.
Maybe that's what they need.
Remember at a certain time not too long ago where pitching was like, a dime a dozen. I mean, not a dime a dozen.
Yep,
There was
you could trade for it.
Such a premium. You couldn't get good pitching. Now it's the opposite. It's almost like power hitting is non-existent.
Right-handed power, especially.
Oh, exactly. So these guys aren't coming up through the system anywhere, in anybody's system, except this kid out in Chicago. See him?
Yeah.
Batting .475 with 9 home runs. And,
shortstop. Oh, no, not that kid. You're talking about Banks?
No, Chris Bryant.
Yeah, Chris Bryant. He's now.
Jesus.
And they're going to send him back. We could talk about that.
I know. But I like the Hanley Ramirez signing. I really do. He had a bit of a down year last year, but he was hurt. But the year before, he batted
all the time.
batted .375 the year before. The guy's got a big bat, and he's got a lot. Listen, all right, just calm down. Here's one I'm not all that excited about is the Pablo Sandoval.
Why? Because he weighs more than CC?
They bring in Pablo Sandoval. No, nobody weighs more than CC.
You're just jealous. I thought of that.
They bring in Pablo Sandoval for 5 years, $95 million.
And his stats are going down.
And honest to God, dude, I wish I had the numbers. You put him next to Chase Headley, and they're not very dissimilar.
That's right. They are. He weighs 100 pounds more.
I almost just dropped the bomb. I almost did it. It was just called you.
How does it feel? That's how I feel when you do that.
I almost just called you a very bad name.
You wait till the show's over.
We'll see Pablo Sandoval. But here's the thing: the lineup gets stretched out now.
That I can't argue.
All of a sudden, you got it's not such an easy lineup.
That I can't argue about.
And also, this one we didn't really talk a lot about this one. You just kind of ragged on me, but this Yoan Moncada guy, I think is going to be.
Don't tell me you don't. Is he going to start the season in the minor leagues?
How many times? I know low minors too, probably. How many times have?
How about the other kid they signed? Where is he? They're not even happy with him.
Rusney?
No, the kid that was going to play center field.
Yeah, Rusney. Oh.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
You really? You said bets?
He's betting. Well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's your best second baseman, by the way.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
So
Joy is done.
Just like shut up. Just like
how's it feel?
Just like I like it. Just like the Yankees, I need it every once in a while. It's humbling. It's just weird to be talking about baseball. It's so strange to get back into it. But just like the Yankees, the Red Sox starting rotation is basically going to make or break their season. The Red Sox are going to hit this year. Okay, the Red Sox last year had about 620 runs scored, and they're going to get at least 100 or 200 more than that.
I agree.
The biggest thing for the Red Sox is pitching, and it's the thing that
name the 5.
It's the thing that's got me the most concerned.
You should.
You're concerned.
You know who's going to throw opening day?
Yeah, it's Clay Buchholz. You're concerned because you're not sure your guys are going to stay healthy.
Right.
I'm concerned because I'm not sure the guys are good enough. Right. So it's going to be.
You have a bunch of 3, 4, and 5s.
The Red Sox are stacked with number 3 pitchers. So if they stay healthy. Here's what I've been hearing a lot about the Red Sox starting rotation. If these guys pitch to their potential, they can all be very good. If Clay Buchholz pitches to his potential, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. Can we agree on that? Because he just never does.
2 years ago, I said on this show that he was the best pitcher in baseball.
And he was for a half a season. The year the Red Sox won the World Series.
He got hurt.
Right. He's so fragile.
Mentally and physically.
Exactly. So you got Buchholz, you got Rick Porcello, Wade Miley, like I said. So those 3 guys, I mean, you don't know what you're going to get out of Buchholz. It's going to be good Buchholz or bad at Buchholz. I think Porcello is going to be okay. Wade Miley also is going to eat innings. These guys are all ground ball pitchers.
I have a quick stat. Can I throw it in there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Buchholz, Miley, and Masterson last year were 23 and 32, and their ERA was 5.07.
Of course, you had to have
God, that really felt good to say.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it felt real good. Joe Kelly. Maybe the whole wild card of the entire rotation.
No, seriously. Because he has serious upside. The question is, can he get there?
Can he get there? He hasn't pitched. I think maybe he's topped out at 150 innings in his career. He's a young kid. I think he's like 25. Already dealing with a bicep thing, which is kind of strange, but you don't like to see that. But has the highest potential, I think, of the whole group. Now he's a fireballer, right? He throws hard. We'll see what happens. I mean, last year he was good and he was not so good, but he was kind of he's acclimating himself to the American League.
Sounds like he's going to fit right into that rotation.
And then you got the guy that they took a total flyer on for $9 million is Justin Masterson. And Justin Masterson 2 years ago was an all-star. Justin Masterson last year didn't even make the...
He was hurt, though.
He had a
bad knee
and an oblique.
Yeah.
So he says he's healthy now.
And he's getting hit.
The big problem is he's getting hit. Now, a lot of times, how much stock do we like to put into spring training?
Right, I agree 100%.
Even on your end.
Yeah, 100%. But, you know, just like my guys, I'll say this about my guys first, and it applies to your guys, is that when a guy's like in the groove and he's pitching pitching good from year to year, you don't care about spring training.
Right.
But when something different's taking place or they're coming back from something,
it needs to show
like CC Sabathius, I'd like to see more.
You need to see a little
just a little bit
yeah.
more, just to feel better about it.
Right.
You know, and that applies to your guys.
Yeah, and that was one thing about Rick Porcello. He was abysmal last spring training and had the best season of his career. So you just don't know. I mean,
but he's one of those guys too.
Yeah,
he's an enigma.
He's steady, but you know he was pitching with Justin Masterson. He was
I'm telling
Max
you,
Scherzer.
that kid's got the ability to be a great pitcher.
We'll see.
He's got, you know, like Buckholz, but Buckholz, I think something's about Buckholz is too far down the road for me mentally to get behind him anymore.
I don't want to get behind him at all, but I understand what you're saying. Now,
but I take him and pitch him fifth and hope that he catch a lightning in a bottle.
As a fifth pitcher, I mean, he'd be the best fifth pitcher in baseball, and he's reasonable. I mean, the Red Sox are paying him, I think, $10 or $11 million. They've had him under control for like 11 years now. So
they had a friendly contract.
Yeah, yeah, big time. So that's the starting rotation. Okay. The starting rotation is definitely the area of most concern for me. The area of second most concern for me is, boy, oh boy, the Red Sox bullpen is going to make me chew my fingers down to the nubs. I swear to God. First of all, Koji, they brought him back for 2 years.
Yeah, man, I couldn't believe that.
It's a real head scratcher. The guy's 39 years old, and he was breaking down last year. I don't expect a lot from Koji this year, which means he'll probably go out and have like 50 saves.
Yeah, I hate to say 50 for 50.
But as of right now, they're not even positive he's going to make the opening day roster. So I mean, I'm real nervous about Koji Uehara. You're worried about your closer. I'm even more worried about mine.
Yeah, but mine's 25.
Exactly. Exactly.
So or 26. He just turned 26.
Yeah. So there's hope for you, right? But then back.
Yeah, but you only want 1 year. See, there's upside there for you too.
Next year's probably an option year or whatever. Okay, and then backing them up, a couple of guys. They got Eduardo Mojica, they got Junichi Tsuzawa, and they brought Craig Breslow back. They took a flyer on Alexi Ogando. Remember how good he was back in the day. And then they're going to fill in with like guys like Brandon Workman, this Robbie Ross kid they got from Texas.
Yeah, I like
Anthony
him.
Vivaro, I think, is another kid. So they have a couple options. They got this kid from, who's actually on my Down on the Farm, this kid from, they picked up from Baltimore last year in the Andrew Miller trade, this Eduardo Rodriguez kid.
Yeah, you know, when that trade was made, there were people saying that the Red Sox got the best of that deal because of that kid.
Absolutely.
Just so you know that.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I'm not in the business of trying to make you feel better, but I'm just throwing a fact in there.
You've never been in that business.
Never.
He's projected to be a Red Sox stalwart in the future. But so the bullpen and the starting rotation are like, you know, two of the biggest things about a team. So before I go to the rest of the team real quick, I just want to say that my overall impression about the Red Sox this year is basically the same as yours. It's like I could see them being in last place again. I could see them winning the division. It's just same thing. Things have to go right. That's why you can't look at a team on paper anymore, because we've done that too much in the past. And how often does it not really come to fruition? Because guys get hurt, guys don't play up to their potential. I mean, your outfield last year looked pretty good, right? Going into the season, you had Brett Gardner, you had Jacoby Ellsbury coming off a World Series, and you had Carlos Beltran coming off of being in the World Series. That's a pretty stellar outfield. And I mean, if you looked at their stats, I mean, they probably had 100 RBIs between the three of them, maybe.
That many?
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm saying, like, looking at things on paper, right? I don't feel all warm and fuzzy about this team.
But do you feel better than you did last year? Do you like this team better than last year? Yeah.
That's a great question. Last year we're coming off a World Series. You know, I felt like I had to give them a little bit of slack going into the season. And don't forget, the Red Sox had John Lester, they had John Lackey, they had
Who was the third
Why
guy?
can't I? What's wrong with me? The guy that went to San Francisco, Jake Peavy.
Yeah, Jake Peavy.
Felix Dupont was looking good, and they had Clay Buchholz. That's a pretty good rotation. And pitching wasn't their problem
First
last
couple
year.
weeks of the season, I thought they had the best pitching in baseball.
And pitching wasn't their problem last year. They couldn't hit the ball.
couldn't hit.
So this year they're going to hit the ball. I mean, unless something really unforeseen happens, they're going to hit the ball this year. The outfield this year is going to be the biggest question, right? Mookie Betts is a lock for center field. I mean, the kid he's a phenom.
They wouldn't trade him, and I think that he might have been the reason Hamels isn't pitching for you.
Absolutely. And I don't think they're ever going to trade Mookie Betts. Actually, they're talking about signing him to a contract.
Yeah, one of those like friend would take away the arbitration years.
How often do you see that? I mean, it happened with Evan Longoria, right? It's happened with a couple of guys here and there, but the fact that they're even talking about that shows how much they love this kid, and he's just getting better and better. Hanley Ramirez is going to play in left field. Shane Victorino is going to start in right field, provided that he can stay healthy. And then after that, they got Daniel Nava, this Rusney Castillo guy, who's going to be a real intriguing player.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Because he's got speed, he's got power, and he's got a glove.
The offense has got to translate.
And he batted over 300 in his short stint last year. I haven't seen anything out of this kid that has shown me that he's not going to be able to do it. But
Victorino won't be playing long then.
That's what I mean. Or yeah, exactly, because they got Alan Craig too that they got to do something with. Alan Craig a couple of years ago was one of the best hitters in baseball, and of course Jackie Bradley Jr. What are you got to do with him?
He's hitting the ball.
I know, and he's playing defense.
Somebody's going to trade for him because he's still. Maybe, except was it the kid in Milwaukee, wherever, is a great center fielder. Jackie Bradley might be the second best defensive player that's in center field in baseball.
No, nobody's better than him. There's no question about it.
No, that kid I'm talking
Carlos
about.
Gomez.
No, not Gomez. It's not Milwaukee. It's somebody else. I'll get the name.
There's no way anybody's better than Jackie Bradley. But
Jacoby Ellsbury.
Okay, so
moving along.
A couple of real quick before we move on. A couple keys, I think, for the Red Sox to succeed this year, right? I think number one, Dustin Pedroia has got to be healthy and he's got to hit. He's got to have a big bounce back season. He didn't do much last year. Xander Bogaerts has to have a major step forward. Now, he's going to be batting 7th or 8th in this lineup.
That's scary,
right?
man, if he hits the way he can.
And he's shown a lot of progress already early on. The starting rotation, like I said, it's got to pitch to their potential.
Napoli's got to come back.
Napoli had big surgery in the offseason.
Yep.
You know, he wasn't sleeping, and we take that for granted. But as a professional athlete, you got to get your rest. So we'll see how he pans out. And
Sandoval's got to stay away from Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, but and
who's going to catch?
I gave it to you.
Who's catching?
Christian Vasquez.
Okay.
Christian
he can play
Vasquez,
defense, but he can't hit.
But you know what? In this lineup, does he need to hit? Does he need to hit?
Yep. Well, when Ramirez gets hurt,
he's Ivan Rodriguez defensively.
And they take out Sandoval on some truck that only carries a ton.
Then they got Alan Craig slipping right in. They got options. All right. So like I said, the Red Sox.
You feel the same exact way I do.
It's a big wait and see. I don't know what to think right now. I'm watching them in spring training, and I'm like, wow, they look good, but then they don't look good. These guys are getting dead arms in the middle of spring training, which is supposed to happen.
That ain't good. Yeah,
it is. It's supposed to happen. It happened to John Lester. I mean,
who on your team got a dead arm?
All 5 of them. Seriously. I mean, they were talking about it like.
How great is it?
But they came out of it.
It's no fun. It's no fun when our teams don't play well.
No, we need better seasons.
Both teams have to play well. We've been sitting here like this.
I think we can finally agree on something. Is that we have to have a better season this year. I mean, we got to be in contention at least. At least until Memorial Day.
Yep.
So. All right, so let's smooth into this new segment we want to get going. We're going to call it Down on the Farm for now.
Okay.
I think that'll work out. But what we're going to do is we're going to pick out a couple of minor league players that maybe we've heard about, maybe we haven't heard about. We'll just do a little bit of a little synopsis on each one, see how they're playing, see how they're doing, see if they're coming up to the big team, see if they're going to get shipped out to Japan.
That's it.
So why don't you give me
my
what
first guy is Luis Severino.
Okay.
Right-handed pitcher, 21 years old. Signed him a couple years ago, and he's his first year was just kind of like probably a lot. Maybe kids are, you're 18 and you're living away from home. I don't know. Who knows? But his last 2 years, he's blown right through the Yankee farm system to where they thought if they had a little bit less pitching this year, he might have started this year because he's a strike thrower. Doesn't walk anybody out, strikeout pitcher, and he's going to kind of built like Rivera too. So he's going to start at AAA this year.
Okay.
But the Yankees are making all kinds of noise.
Starting pitcher?
Okay. All kinds of noise that he's the best pitcher in their system and that maybe he can end up with a big team this year. My second guy is Aaron Judge. He is an outfielder, 22 years old, 6'7".
Wow.
All right, 6'7", right-handed power, serious right-handed power hitter, and the Yankees like him in the outfield. They feel like if they didn't have Carlos Beltran, he might be there right now, but they figure his date to show up is next year, unless something happens to players this year.
Okay.
All right. My third guy is Greg Bird, a left-handed hitting outfielder, 22 years old, and he is, they say, the new, Kevin Youkilis,
Okay.
the god of walks.
Good god of walks.
Yeah, doesn't hardly strikes out, puts the ball in play, hits for some power. Those are my three guys, and they're three of about the 6 or 7 best guys in the system.
Okay.
So keep an eye on them during the season.
Well, for a team that's so depleted in their minor league system.
You're the only one. You are mentally depleted, but that has nothing to do with my farm system.
Okay, speaking of not depleted, the Red Sox minor league system, they got a couple guys. Your guys I never heard of, which I like. That's cool. You're keeping me informed.
And that's the best way is when you don't hear about
That's
them. Then
true.
all of a sudden they spring on you.
That's true. So a couple of these guys you've obviously heard of. Blake Swihart, I got as my first one, is also not getting traded for Cole Hamels. He's a switch hitting power catcher, first round draft pick, 22 years old, above average catcher and hitter. I've seen him a couple times in spring training, and the kid's got the goods. I mean, he's legit. Moving over to Henry Owens, who we've heard about for quite a while. It's not very high on this guy anymore. I haven't seen a lot out of him. All right, he's 22 years old.
He pitched
Also,
at the end of the year last year.
Yeah, he's a tall, lanky.
He doesn't throw hard enough to me.
Well, he throws 90 to 94. They call it deceptive. He profiles.
Greg
as
Maddux was deceptive.
He profiles as a solid number 3 with potential for higher. Interesting, known to be as goofy off the field, but very mature on the field.
That's. Oh yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
And then my other guy is this Moncada guy that we don't know a whole lot about. He's only 19, 5'2" athlete. He's got plus talent and speed, raw power, and arm. And I forgot to mention too, by the way, the Yankees wanted him probably worse than the Red Sox did.
I think you're right.
And that's why this is even a bigger coup for the Red Sox. The Red Sox, they did pay him $31.5 million. It's funny, looking at the signing bonuses. I found this website, redsoxprospects.com, and they show signing bonuses and salaries and everything. And like Blake Swihart maybe got $1 million. This guy got $31 million.
Well, you know what? It's not fair to guys that play in the United States and they get drafted. I want to write down somewhere. I want to talk about there should be a world draft for baseball.
Yes, I agree.
Because it's ridiculous that I'm not saying they shouldn't make the money, but why should that kid make that and Blake Swihart get $1 million bonus? Not that there's anything wrong with $1 million bonus.
Yeah, and you see it going around all over the league as the guys are getting bonuses. The Cubans are getting bonuses like this all over the place. Also,
do my Chinini or whatever is like the next time. I like that.
Cicchini? Yeah. All right, you can have him.
I'd like that.
Also, they say if Moncada entered the draft, he would be flat out number 1 overall draft pick. So look at some of the last draft picks. No, we're talking about baseball. We're talking about Steven Strasburg. We're talking about Bryce
whose
Harper.
arm's falling off. Bryce Harper's a punk.
Mike Trout. Type
okay,
guy.
Mike Trout's not bad.
He's pretty good. All right, let's do a couple around the leagues first, real quick, and then we got a new segment coming up. We got all kinds of stuff going on here. All right, first issue is the time of the game is being addressed, right? Can't step out of the box during the game. Any thoughts on this?
Yes, I do.
Actually,
I talked to the professor about
this. Do you like the game to be shorter, or do you not care that it goes on a little longer?
I don't care if it goes on longer if it's a good game.
Agreed.
Okay, here's what I think about it. I think that baseball people love baseball.
Yep.
And when the Yankees and the Red Sox play and the game's at 7 o'clock, you know you're not going to bed till 12 o'clock that night, okay?
Unless it's a work night.
Yeah, unless, because they play baseball, they make the pitchers pitch.
Yeah.
Every pitch counts for something.
Sure.
I love baseball that way. Now, of course, if it's a blowout, I'm with you, I'm in bed by 8:30.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't care, but what do I think about, I do think they can make the pitchers throw the ball faster, and they can make the batters stay in the box. I got no problem with those two things.
Please tell me you're not an advocate for the pitch clock.
I'm an advocate for Josh Beckett not holding the ball 1 minute per pitch.
Well, he's not. He retired, so.
You know what? Don't you think 25 seconds is a long time to throw the ball?
Yeah, but do you want to see a clock running during a baseball game at all? For any reason at all?
I never thought I was going to see instant replay, dude. Now we have instant replay.
I mean,
you know,
are we have to get with the times here? Or, I mean,
well, I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, see, but maybe I'm drifting. But if you're asking me, do I think it's going to help baseball? No, because baseball is a timeless sport. There's no clock, no all puns aside about the 25-second pitch clock.
Right.
But baseball is a timeless sport. That's why you and I love it, because you can watch it, and your team's never out of the game until the last pitch.
That's right.
Until the last pitch.
Yeah.
You know, when there's 10 seconds left, you can be 40 points behind, like our teams have been all year long in football, and the game's over by halftime.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
But in baseball, somebody puts a 7 on the board in the 8th inning, they're in the game, or they come from behind.
Right.
So I think this is a sad attempt to acquiesce to people, some dot-commers who want
Very
baseball,
well said. It's a younger
who
crowd.
want they say baseball's boring because of this. That's not going to change their mind.
Right.
And I don't think that changes their mind. A 2-hour game won't change their mind.
Exactly. The only thing that will is if the sponsors start getting behind that, because then you're talking about money. But you're right, and I think from baseball purists, which I really think most people that watch baseball are baseball purists, right? You don't get a lot of. You get some, and not a large majority, but there's not a lot of casual baseball watchers.
I agree.
Like people
like football.
People are casual football watchers, right? Everybody watches the Super Bowl. Not everybody watches the World Series, but a baseball fan's going to watch a baseball game.
I agree.
And they want to watch it the way they want to watch it.
I agree.
The way it's always been.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree 100%.
Right.
Now, here's the thing, though. Like, let's take the NBA. Well, what's the last 2 minutes of an NBA game like? How long does it take?
College basketball is even worse.
Yeah, I mean, what am I exaggerating when I say that sometimes those games can be 15 minutes?
Oh, 5
for
minutes.
the last 2 minutes?
Yeah, 5 minutes. If you're watching a basketball game and there's 5 minutes left and it's a close game, you might as well just allocate a half an hour to watch that 5 minutes.
So those are the things that need to be changed about those sports. Baseball's not like that in the 7th inning, the 8th inning, and the 9th inning.
Here's one thing I could see speeding up the game a little bit is you don't allow the catcher to go out to the mound so much, right? Maybe
those are coming.
Maybe give them 1 or 2 trips.
Those are coming. Let's face it. This is about TV, more or less, and commercials in between. So
Absolutely.
that's why they want everybody ready to play when TV comes back from commercial.
Right.
That's one thing.
Maximize.
The 25-second clock. I got to be honest with you. I don't have a problem with that because I hate watching a guy hold the baseball.
I think it's hokey.
I think it's hokey, but I think after a month you're not going to care. It's going to be one of those things you don't notice about.
Yeah.
And if somebody just gets to have 1 foot, I can't walk out of the box and Thurman Munson and this and that and that's not necessary.
Do you agree with David Ortiz said he needs to think about the next pitch in between pitches?
He's got 25 seconds to think about the next pitch. Okay?
All right.
And besides, all he's got to do is take steroids that morning and he's fine. He doesn't have to think about anything.
All right, anyways. A couple other things.
Good one, though.
2015, no, it's not good at all.
No, you do the topic.
Oh, thank you, yeah. Thank you. The 2015 Hall of Fame inductees, John Smoltz.
100%.
Randy Johnson.
Absolutely.
Pedro.
Yes. Hate to give it to you, but yes.
Craig Biggio. He's a little...
Question about steroids, right?
Well, I mean, it's a question about whether...
If he made it, why didn't his mate at first base make it?
Yeah.
Kid was a Red Sox.
God, why are these names... See?
We're not in the groove yet.
Exactly. Not thinking about names.
Okay, so you feel the same way about Biggio?
Yeah, not so much steroids, maybe a little bit steroids. I think Biggio was kind of a stat compiler because he played
but 3,000 hits, man.
Well, I know, basically is a free ticket into the Hall of Fame.
I mean 3,000 hits.
That's a lot. It's a lot.
I'm just saying I wonder about steroids. Maybe not, because he was slight of build.
Speaking of...
he was.
Speaking of a lot of hits, Pete Rose is requesting reinstatement.
No chance, ever.
I think the tide might be shifting here.
Okay, well, maybe that's true, but he cheated. And he cheated severely. A bet on his team to win and lose.
No, he bet on his team
That's
to
what
win.
he says. Do you really don't think he bet on his team to lose and sometimes that's something to do with it?
If that's the case, then he should never get in. But I don't think that's the case.
So that means then he did anything to win. Maybe he left a pitcher in a game that had a bad arm to get through an inning or bring somebody in to pitch. When a guy cheats, you can't give him any slack. You can't trust anything he says. He cheated on the game. And when you cheat on the game and you bet against it, you go away forever. You want to know why? Because the second guy won't think about doing it.
So how much different is it than So there's people that want to put all these steroid users.
That's
in the
how
Hall-
I feel.
in the Hall
You
of
get
Fame.
caught. Oh no, nobody in the Hall of Fame goes. Anybody that gets caught for steroids once should be banned from baseball.
Well, what about people that are under suspicion? Like
But if you can't prove it, that's one thing. But if you can prove it, no.
Roger Clemens.
No.
You can't prove it.
Yeah, in my mind, I can prove it. You want to know why? Because he was 38 years old and all of a sudden won the Cy Young Award 2 times.
I bet you can't. There's no concrete evidence. I'm playing devil's advocate. Big
I
time
know you're
here.
playing devil's advocate.
I totally agree with you.
You know, him and we could just go
Barry
down the
Bonds
list.
is different, but
Barry
I mean,
Bonds.
yeah.
Why is he different?
Well,
he never got caught.
He did get caught.
Okay, yeah, well, not technically got caught.
Well, he got caught. I mean, it came out in the ball call study.
That stuff makes me angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I'm talking about officially caught baseball, and in the testing era.
Yeah. Jeff Bagwell.
That's it.
Just came to
That's
me.
it.
Real quick too, there's a couple of free agent guys that got signed. Max Scherzer got signed for 7 years, $200 million. Holy moly!
His arm's gonna fall if you watch.
Oh boy. John Lester, 6 years, 155. Not bad. James Shields, 4 years, 75 million. I think that was kind of a bargain for Milwaukee. Milwaukee beefed up.
Really,
their team.
I think that's more money than he's worth. He's too old. He's 33.
No, he's
Too many innings.
Back to the National
And he
League.
got shelled in the World Series.
National League, man. He's good. He's
Okay.
good. Do we want to do a couple Did You Knows?
Yes, we do.
All right.
Oh, we do? We
Yeah.
got enough time?
Yeah, we
Okay.
got it.
All right, I got a couple of them. So, who holds the record for RBIs for the Colorado Rockies in a season?
I don't know. I can't remember the guy. I know.
There's a lot of big hitters in Colorado Rocky history. I'll give you the year, 1996.
give me the first initial.
A.
Last name initial.
G.
What's his name?
That guy.
What's his name?
Andres Galarraga.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right. First baseman. He used to play for St. Louis.
The big cat.
Yep, the big cat.
150 RBIs.
He played for Atlanta too at the end.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good call.
Here's a good one. Albert Pujols, his next home run during the regular season will be his 521st. Hall of Famer? That's not the question, but all right. No?
On the fence.
No, how could you be on the fence about Albert Pujols?
Well, did he ask me a question and was
I know.
I entitled to
next,
answer it?
next show, I want to bring in Albert Pujols' career stats.
You bring in Alex Pujols.
Bring in
and I'll-
Alex Pujols.
I'll beat
I think
him
you're
down.
ready.
I will beat him down.
He will, with this home run, he will tie 3 Hall of Famers. Who are they?
Ted Williams.
Very good. One of them has an area of a baseball field named after him.
Oh, Penske?
No.
Oh, well. He has an air. Oh, he's got a pole.
That's that. Yeah, but his name's not Penske. It was
Pesky.
Pesky.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Pesky.
okay. And he was a shortstop, I think.
He has a pole too. You're right.
Oh,
So his wife
no,
says.
no, don't
Go
go.
ahead.
Clue.
It's in San Francisco.
Oh.
Oh, no, Bonds didn't hit more than 521.
No. Just,
Willie Mays.
Nope.
No?
Close. You got the first name right.
Willie McCovey.
Willie McCovey.
Oh, yeah, he used to hook it around the pole.
And the last one is a more recent guy. He just got elected in the Hall of Fame last year, I believe.
Frank Thomas?
Very good.
Nice.
Very good.
Nice.
One more quick one. We got time for one more?
Yeah.
All right. Who are the only 2 players? This is a good one. Only 2 players to ever appear in the Final Four and the World Series. I would have never known. I know.
Dave Winfield?
Nope. I know one of the guys.
No, Winfield went straight to the pros from high school.
I'll give you the years. One of them was in the Final Four in 1974 and made the World Series in 1983. The other guy made the Final Four in 1988 and the World Series in 2002.
Okay, I'm going to need clues.
Okay, the first guy, I don't know who he is, so I can't give you a clue.
Pitcher?
Played for the Orioles. Played for North Carolina State.
Oh, God, I know he's a pitcher. I'm not going to remember the name.
Tim Stoddard?
Yep, it's Tim Stoddard.
Really?
Yeah, big power forward or center for NC State.
How about that?
And he pitched for the next one.
And the second guy is a little guy, speedster, leadoff hitter. Played for Arizona, made the Final Four in 1988. I believe he played for Cleveland Indians.
Lofton?
Kenny Lofton?
Kenny Lofton.
Good one. Good call, Paul.
Very good. All right, so that's all I got. So
Paulie came armed and ready today, man.
yeah, he did. Came armed anyway. So
Give him the rundown on what this great debate's about.
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. So our new segment, this year. We've shelved the Who Am I for a while, just the same fashion we shelved this or that.
We forgot who we were.
Which will at one point or another bring back for
Absolutely.
nostalgic reasons. But this year we're going to try a new thing. We're going to call it the Great Debate. We're going to talk about something. It could be sports related. Doesn't necessarily have to be.
A topic Paulie picks.
That's the thing, is that Paul Hyatt, the director, is going to pick the topic. So
we don't know.
Most likely, it's going to revolve around politics.
That's okay with me.
It's great for Jeff. For me, I don't pay a lot of attention to what's going on in the world, except the world sucks. So I'll just have to try to. And here's the wrinkle, is that Paul's going to assign a side. So this is actual debate. He's going to say, I want you to argue for, and I want you to
and
argue
we have 4 minutes. Just
Okay,
so
I
you
know.
that
Okay, this is
Well,
going to be real quick.
All right.
Now, there's a couple things that I would like to do. I'd like to talk about the ridiculous notion of mandatory voting in the United States, but we don't have enough time. I'd like to talk about Hillary's email scandal, which is, over the top, or Obama's illegal executive order overreaches, but we can do that another time. What I really want to talk about right now
love it.
is Bo Bergdahl and the White House's insistence that they did the right thing. Now, I'm going to give Billy...
What was the first part?
Bo Bergdahl. And I want to give Bill the administration side, and then I'm going to give Jeff the right wing side for now.
Man, I could have done a lot better with the other side. All right, well, Bo Bergdahl, Obama's thing is never leave anybody behind, right? Regardless of the fact. So the guy did desert. He wanted to be jihadist. They probably got drugged.
Can I say anything at any time?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Well, here's my thing. I think
He walked off his post, and he should be shot.
No, well,
okay. Then he
and men
came
were
back,
looking for him.
and then he came back and he lied. And then Obama brought his parents to the Rose Garden, shook their hand, hugged them without really knowing what happened, even though they knew what happened.
Exactly.
But because of their totally liberal left side, they didn't care. Because you know what? They don't care about the military.
I guess
Are
I
you
don't. going
to say anything?
I guess I don't get to talk to him.
Okay, talk.
Here's the thing. Bo Bergdahl is a true American. More than likely, he was framed by the jihadists, and they threatened his family.
There's nothing wrong with him. There's no physical marks on him. Anything. He walked off his post and
They didn't
found
touch him.
them.
They didn't have to touch him.
There are pictures of him with the jihadists. There's nothing wrong with him.
They said, we know
going to McDonald's.
They said, we know where your family is, and we will inflict great harm on them. All praise Allah. And if we
Akbar, is that how they say that?
Allahu Akbar. And if you don't join us, we're gonna kill your family. We're gonna kill your family.
He walked off his post. So
We're
if that's
gonna pull
okay,
out their fingernails.
anybody on their post at any time can walk off their post.
If they're being threatened
And
by
here's a couple other points.
Allah.
Men were killed looking for him.
Yeah, men died looking for this lying sheep.
That's all I can say about this is that they probably weren't very well trained.
And you didn't
No,
mention
be
the
careful.
5 men that was traded for
Yeah,
him either.
yeah.
Who are now back
and the
on
5
the field.
guys now are out and they are back doing other things.
And my only point on that is they're probably low players. They're probably like administrative.
I have to point out, Bill was given the unfortunate position of trying to defend.
I would have done better than that.
What are you talking about? It's a tough one. But
We have 2 minutes.
All right, so in 2 minutes, I'll summation that Bo Bergdahl, a true American whose parents were brought to the Rose Garden on the taxpayer's dime, but taxpayers have paid for a lot dumber things.
Okay, that I can't argue about.
And Obama.
Wow, he's pulling it out.
And Obama, in the true spirit of jihad, has waged war on.
Obama, who is probably Muslim himself because he doesn't have a birth certificate and shouldn't have been allowed to be an American, is probably running. He's running the liberal left jihad on America as it is.
Hey.
And this guy's just a perfect example of that.
You better be careful.
nice.
Listen, I know it's freedom of speech and everything, but listen.
Okay, this concludes the first great debate.
Who won?
All right.
I'm gonna have to say that Billy was put in an unfortunate position that he could never win.
He's not going to
given
win.
his position.
He's not going to win when you give him the best position either.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I like it though. Maybe we should allocate a little more time for it
Yeah,
next week.
Yeah.
Next
We're
week.
kind of just
10
getting
minutes.
back into the flow.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
we're-
Yeah, because my blood. I got to
So,
bring in my blood pressure medication.
We're gonna have to
for
wrap
next
it up
week.
right now.
We're easing it back.
Frank,
into
take it away.
A couple
It's good to
quick,
be back.
quick shout outs. Little Frank, Big Frank,
My
Frank
mom
Winkler,
and my dad, my brother.
Peter Grills, Paul Hyatt, obviously great job. We're back. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Baseball will have started by then, and we are out of here.